Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon for those in Brazil, Germany, and other places. I would like to welcome everyone for our workshop between University of São Paulo and University of Minster to talk about our Cotutela agreement for doctoral candidates. And it's with great pleasure that I would like to call for the opening session Professor Niels Olsen Câmara, the Deputy Provost for Graduate Studies from the University of São Paulo, and Professor Bernd Hellingrad, the Scientific Director of the Brazilian Center from the University of Minster. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Kavita. Good morning, everyone. Guten Tag from my colleagues. I would like first to congratulate my colleagues from University of Munster and all the participants that are watching us at our channel in the YouTube. So I think we're going to have a very exciting webinar today to discuss many possible collaborations between both universities today. It is a pleasure to be here today. I was particularly involved in this agreement of Cotutela that Kavita mentioned. For us at USP, it's an honor to have Munster as a partner university to sign this global agreement. We think that this could foster our collaboration and instigate the students to look for new knowledge, share expertise with our German colleagues. We started a long time ago with Munster doing a collaboration with the law school here at USP. Then we went to a more biomedical science, and we have an agreement for master students. And now we did a big one, and we thought we can do and make an even better agreement with our colleagues. So we have now an agreement for PhD students with the whole university, and we will be discussing today with both teams, and we'll be very excited about that. We think that this collaboration is important not only in the scientific level, but also to share some exchange in the cultural level, and also to have an idea how it is to live outside Brazil, and and discuss not only science, but politics, economy, and just living abroad. And I think the University of Munster is unique in a way to provide this to our students. So we are very, very happy here today. We have more than 30 students that are under different agreement with us. Some of them were already accepted, some of them are still in betweens, but just to show that this collaboration is very strong and very, very important for us. So I would like to, just before giving the talk to Bernd, I would like to thank Munster, Anya, Katie, Laura, Sabine, and also our USP team, Daniela, Kavita, Bruno, and also our provost, Marcio, for make this agreement a real possibility. So it's a very, very nice for us. Thank you. Thank you, Kavita, Professor Bernd.
Yes, thank you very much, Niels, for the very nice words, introductory words. Also, welcome from my side. Bom dia aos todos. And to the German ones, guten Nachmittag or guten Tag. So I'm also very delighted that we have this workshop here today, as this really is a good sign, a good approach concerning our strategic partnership Münster has with the USP in that regard, that we are really continuously develop our partnership further. And I think this joint Cotutela agreement and the workshop today is a very good sign of that. The collaboration, as Niels already pointed out, is lasting since a long time. So there were these law school activities going on, and there were numerous more things happening for a long time. I think that went on for decades already. But in the last years, or let's say in the last decade, especially the last 5 to 6 years, we were pushing this partnership even further. On the one side from USP, of course, but also from our side in Münster, as we had the opportunity of getting some money from the German Academic Exchange Service to develop this partnership further on. And I think this was a very successful endeavor, because we managed that we now all together have 30 institutes collaborating in different areas, be it in research, but also be it in education. And over the last 4 to 5 years, we had more than 130 professors and students visiting either Minster or visiting the USP, which really shows that this is a broad stream of collaboration regarding that. And of course, amongst those, and again, Niels just mentioned that there are a number of students which are under a joint supervision. I hadn't got the number, thanks for that, Niels, that there are around 30 currently ongoing. And this really shows that such a Cotutela agreement, having a joint framework, a guideline, how to create our joint supervisions is really helpful. And we are very thankful to Niels and the whole team standing behind that they asked us to do this and that we really pushed this through and made this through happen very quickly. Because sometimes these contracts and agreements take a long time if there are there's a longer discussion between the juridical departments. But of course, also this is something, as I know from the USP side and also for us, very new, because up to now we had specific Cotutela agreements for distinct students, but didn't have such a framework agreement. So I think we will also have to learn how we can make this go into practice. But I think, as one can see with the number of persons visiting, joining this workshop, there's a very big interest in all of this. And I really think, based on our experience we have with the collaboration with USP being very smoothly and nice in the recent years, is we will manage to do this. And by this, will enable the deepening of our collaboration between both universities, of course, and also, and this is also very important for us from Minster and the Brazil Center, also to get a cultural and knowledge about the different countries, with students exchanging to both sides of the Atlantic, learning how it is to live in Sao Paulo, or learning how it is to live in Minster, which is quite distinct, I can say, as I'm changing both sides quite often. But I really think it's a worthwhile experience, and this also has shown the recent years. One will establish a number of friendships. So it's really friendships which can last for a long time, maybe through all of your scientific life. And this is also another side aspect, I think, of such a collaboration, that it's not bringing only universities as institutions together, but people together. And this is something I think is also very valuable. And I'm really happy, and I think it will be a very interesting workshop for today, that you will learn a lot about how to continue that. And I'm really looking forward to deepening our relationships based on this agreement, with a lot of more PhD students coming from both sides. So thank you, and I wish you a very nice and successful workshop for today.
Thank you very much, Professor Niels and Professor Bernd, for your words and talking about a little bit about our agreement and our Kotel workshop. And we're also looking forward to have this first doctoral candidates within this Kotel agreement. So just a quick overview over our agenda for the next few hours. So we're going to have a presentation for the University of São Paulo. So students from the University of Minster can get to know a little bit more about it. And also the other way around, we're going to have a presentation from the University of Minster and the Brazilian Center and the Graduate Center. So the students from the University of São Paulo can also get to know a little bit more about our partner institution. Then we're going to have a round table with some alumni, both from Minster and University of São Paulo. And then we're going to have a Q&A, questions and answer sessions for our audience that are watching us through YouTube. So if you're watching us through YouTube, please feel free to send your questions or comments through the chat, and we're going to pass it over to our presenters here in the presentation. Then we're going to talk a little bit about our Kotel from the perspective of the University of Minster and also from the University of São Paulo. So some details that you have to be aware of. And then we're going to also have another Q&A session if you have questions about the Kotel agreement itself. Okay, so let's start with our presentation. So I would like to welcome Professor Sérgio Proença. He is the president from Alcani in the University of São Paulo. It's the international office of our university, and he will talk a little bit more about our university, the facilities, and how it is to study at our university. Professor Sérgio, welcome.
So thank you all, and good morning everyone. Guten Tag in Deutschland, people. And let me firstly thank the organizers, Professor Bernd and Professor Niels, Anya and Sabine as well, for having me here in this important workshop. And my aim here is to let you know a little bit about at least some general informations about our university. So I'm going to show you some numbers related to the USP, and also some details regarding the International Cooperation Office, which I'm in charge in our university right now. So let me share with you my screen. Please just let me know if...
We can already see your screen, Professor.
Okay, thank you. So let's start. These are some pictures about the life in our universities. USP is a huge university in Latin America. And in these pictures here, we have different aspects of the life inside the campus and inside the city as well. So the outline of this presentation, 10 minutes about. First of all, I will give you some numbers about the USP. Then this is the acronyms of our Portuguese acronyms of our International Cooperation Office, ALCANI, something related to our activities, and also activities related to the internationalization strategies and perspectives in our university. So the state, let me tell you something related to the state of São Paulo. Is a state in southeast of Brazil, and it has about 3% of Brazil it occupies about 3% of the Brazil's area, but however, in this small area, we have 45 million inhabitants and 32% of Brazil's GDP. So is let's say, the richest state in our country. And in these pictures here are some pictures of the campus of USP in the state of São Paulo. I mean, in the state of São Paulo, we have USP in São Paulo, a campus. The main campus is in São Paulo city, and then we have 7 more campus inside the state, in São Carlos, Ribeirão Preto, Bauru, Piracicaba, Pirassununga, Lorena, and Santos. So what is very important to remark is that we have financial and administrative autonomy. It means that we can manage our financial aspects according to our necessities and our perspectives of learning and researching. We are a completely tuition-free institution. It means that there is no tax for anything, and the education is completely free. USP was founded in 1934. It has about 48 schools and specialized institutes. They are spread in the 8 campuses of our university. For instance, we have in our university, we have 3 medicine schools, 3 dentistry schools, 3 engineering schools, 3 physical education and sport schools, 2 economy, business and accounting, 2 architecture and urbanism schools. So you can see that we are really a huge university. Of course, the 3 medicine schools, one is in São Paulo city, a second one in Ribeirão Preto, a third one in Bauru. So they are spread inside the state of São Paulo. So we have 332 undergraduate programs, in which about 60,000 students are enrolled. On the graduate program side, we have 264 graduate programs, in which about 28,000 students are enrolled, considering master's and doctoral programs. If you add both, we arrive almost at 100,000 students in our university. So in terms of faculty members, we are about 5,500, and we have also the support of technical and administrative staff, about 30,000 administrative staff cooperating with us. USP is among the best universities in the world in 44 of the 51 specific areas evaluated in 2022 edition of the QS World University Ranking by subject. This is very new evaluation that we are considered, and if we group the knowledge fields in 5 groups like life science and medicine, arts and humanities, social science and administration, natural science, engineering and technology. If you group consider all this group of knowledge, we are among the top 100 universities in the world. So regarding the international cooperation from USP, we have cooperation, academic cooperation almost all over the world. So the International Cooperation Office is in charge of the main agreements that we have. This is the picture showing the building where the International Cooperation Office is placed. As I already said, this is the acronyms for our agency. We have a central office in São Paulo city and 48 local offices. In each unit, in each school, there is a local office for international cooperation. Of course, we are coordinating all this group of activities. So we have a vision, basic vision in terms of internationalization. Of course, we focus on the positive aspects of internationalization. Our aim is to improve academic quality, international-oriented students and staff, provide a national and international citizenship, provide diversifying the learning environment, international mentality for our students, and of course, a second language competence. So in our vision, this is the main points regarding the internationalization, and our activities are direct towards these aspects. We are responsible for agreements between institutions, like we have with the Minster University. We are in charge of the mobility of students and exchange it. Exchange it means students from abroad coming to São Paulo. Considering universities in Europe, in Africa, in Central America, in the US, and Asia, Oceania, and so on. So we provide also language education for our students in terms of English language, Spanish language, for instance. We provide also academic reception for the students coming from abroad. Of course, we have a sector of communication and administration of our agency. These are just examples of joint calls where students and researchers can apply to have some support. There are French-Brazilian chairs programs, USP Coffee Cube, USP Lyon, USP Minho, USP Princeton, USP Humboldt, USP Pasteur Fiocruz, Ibero-American Union of Universities, University Global Partnership Network. So these are some, let's say, big cooperation programs that we are involved. And every year we have joint calls for these programs. So what are our perspectives? In terms of future, we think to continuous high level of internationalization abroad. We aim to provide opportunity to all the students to develop international understanding, intercultural skills through joint calls, to provide joint calls, research activities, language education, mobility of students, faculty, and staff, workshops, supporting conference, seminars, joint publications, and so on. Another point that we are focused on in the near future is to increase and improve internationalization at home, which means to provide opportunity for non-mobile students to have international literacy, create a learning environment on campus that may encompass both the formal and informal curriculum to guarantee a welcome environment for students. So there are, of course, some challenges still to be faced. We need to transform our curricula in something more international, and in particular, in this case, agreements with Minster is very important to do that. We need to improve online course. Students may be enrolled in the foreign university while remaining at home. This is what we call internationalization at home, because we are also looking forward to provide internationalization to all of our students. Of course, the challenges are to increase or improve double degrees programs, including undergraduate and graduate programs. And of course, the last but not the least, continues the examination and evaluation of the effects of the internationalization. It's something that we in our agencies are always looking for. So this was only a very short group of information that I selected to show you. Hopefully, it's good for you, and we are at your disposal in our agency for any doubt or any complementary information that you need. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sergio, for your nice talking about USP. That was very interesting to know more about the University of São Paulo, and we'll be able to respond in the first section of QA some doubts about the University of São Paulo. So thank you again, and now I would like to introduce Anya, Lawrence, Lara Redondo, and Sabine Schneider to present about the University of Minster, representing the Brazilian Center and its Graduate Center. So many thanks again for being here, and we are more than glad to hear from you, Anya.
Okay, thank you very much, Bruno. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Anya. I work at the Brazil Center, and I take the opportunity to thank USP for the wonderful and very fruitful collaboration that we have developed throughout the last years, and especially Niels, with whom I've been working on this Cotutela agreement. And of course, also thanks to my colleague Laura Redondo. She will be moderating the alumni session later on. She's our representative in São Paulo in the liaison office, and also Katy dos Santos, who is helping us in the background of this webinar. And yes, of course, also big thanks to the team of USP who is helping to organize this webinar. And now I'm going to briefly present the University of Minster to you. In Germany, the name is Westfälische Wilhelms-Universität Münster. We say WWU. So for the sake of simplicity, I will just say WWU too. And then my colleague from the Graduate Center, Sabina, will present the doctoral opportunities of our university to you. Okay, so the city and the university, they are very intertwined. This is why I want to give you, I want to share with you some of the main characteristics, some of the special characteristics of Münster with you. Münster is known as a city of science and lifestyle. It's a medium-sized city with more than 300,000 inhabitants, which is medium-sized in Germany. It's very characterized by students because, as you see, we have many higher education institutions and more than 60,000 students. It's a historical city that was founded in the 8th century. The Peace of Westphalia was signed here in the 17th century. As you can see on the picture, we have a historical city center, and it's a city that offers many opportunities in different realms. So we offer many cultural and sport activities, also shopping, of course, recreational opportunities. And this is very interesting. It's a very bicycle-friendly university and city. And we say that there are twice as many bikes in Münster as residents. So yes, in a few words, we might say that it's a vibrant city, a traditional city, it's safe, and it's green. And we also say that the city is our campus from the University of Münster. As you can see here, the university buildings are distributed all over the city, and our Brazil Center is not even on this map because we are in the northwest of this map. But as you can see, basically the city, yes, it's our campus. And you can go by bike from one institute to the other. So it's really quite nice. Here you find an overview of our university. It's a traditional university founded in the 18th century. It's one of the Germany's largest universities with 15 faculties. We offer 120 subjects of study within 280 degree programs. Here you have some numbers about our students and employees. And as you can see, the Minster University Hospital has even more than 10,000 employees. So it's a very big employer in the region too. And Münster is a comprehensive research university, as is USP. We offer internationally renowned cutting-edge research in the humanities, in social, natural, and life sciences. There is a lot of support also for transdisciplinary collaborative research. So we have many interdisciplinary research centers that might be interesting for you too. And the university also highly values the promotion of young researchers. And yes, the outstanding performances of Münster University is also shown in rankings and numerous prizes that the university received. These are just some examples here. As you can see on the Nature Index Global, we reached 94 worldwide in the last ranking, and then the Shanghai ranking, we occupied the position 150 to 20. And there are also some prizes which I wanted to mention. Here are all our faculties. We basically cover all fields of knowledge, but we do not have engineering, we don't have architecture, design, and no agricultural sciences. But I have to say that many fields are still covered by other departments. So, for instance, Professor Bernd Hellegard, who spoke to us at the very beginning of this webinar, he's an engineer by himself. He works in information systems, so there are knowledge fields related to these. This is just a list of some of the research focus areas of Münster. Religion and politics and mathematics, they are clusters of excellence, which means that they receive high amounts of funding by the federal government and also the state government. We have cell dynamics and imaging, battery research, and nanosciences, which are very strong in Münster. Some emerging fields are evolution, which is also very interdisciplinary, and neural systems. But of course, there are many other fields in the humanities and the social science too, but which I couldn't mention due to the limited time. Here are some renowned research centers that are also collaborations with non-university institutions. As you can see here, the Helmholtz, Max Planck, and Fraunhofer, which you probably know. And we also have these the first three mentioned here, which are collaborations between university and non-university institutions at Centec in the area of nanosciences, soft nanoscience, and the MEET, which is quite renowned in Germany. And some last words regarding our relationship to Brazil. Scientific relations have existed between Minster and Brazilian institutions for more than 50 years. Brazil has been defined as a strategic partner country of Minster. We have this strategic partnership with USP, and we have many other active partnership agreements with other universities and also with two funding agencies, FAPESP, which is very interesting for joint research, of course, between Minster and São Paulo, but also with CAPES, and besides also there's several agreements on faculty level. And due to the strong relationship, the University of Minster decided to establish a Brazil Center in 2010 already to bring all of these activities together. And this is important for you too, is that we have more than 80 members, which are professors and researchers that have active collaborations with Brazil or are interested in such collaborations. So they might be potential supervisors, right? So this is interesting. We have this liaison office in São Paulo since 2010, headed by Laura. And this liaison office serves as a contact point for Brazilian students, professors, and institutions. And our mission is to promote and strengthen scientific cooperation and academic exchange with Brazil. Just some comment about this strategic partnership project WWU-USP, which was funded by the DoD in the last 7 years. Unfortunately, it already finished at the end of last year, but it helped us to really build this strategic partnership. And there were many mobility activities. 75 persons actually received funding for research days. Another larger number was mentioned by Bernd before, that actually also participated in this exchange. And yeah, we had these 2 phases. And this is interesting because, as you see, neglected diseases, law, information systems, and cities and climate are research areas where many contexts already exist and many activities, joint activities, have been developed throughout the last year. So if you are from this area, just contact us. And now I want to hand over to Sabine. Please go on.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sabine, and it's also my pleasure being here. Thank you, Anja and Kasi, for inviting me to present doctoral studies at Minster University. I'm from the Graduate Center, and I'm responsible for international doctoral candidates. So the international office actually is not responsible for doctoral candidates at Minster University. This is just for you to sort of know who I am and what I'm doing. Yes. So Anja, would you move the slides as I go along?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, doctoral candidacy at Minster University might be slightly different from a doctoral candidacy at USP. So you can basically do a doctoral degree in Minster in any discipline. Like if it's an individual doctoral candidacy, it can be any. It will take 3 to 5 years on average, depending on your discipline and also on your personal discipline. And it's typically pursued full time. And it can be individually supervised or a structural PhD. So traditionally in Germany, the PhD was quite individual, having a supervisor called Dr. Vater, Dr. Mutter, and then you were basically doing your own research project under the supervision of one supervisor. Exactly. Can you all see the slides? I can see only half of it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Exactly. So in the 80s, there were structural schools. So the DFG, the German Foundation, opened graduate schools which were a bit more structured with curricula and yeah, maybe more similar to the programs in Brazil as well. So there are also different funding options for a PhD. Some PhDs are employed at the university, others have a scholarship from an external provider, some have their own funds, or some work part-time as well. This, of course, has some influence on your experience as well. And what do we expect from you, or what is expected from you? It's expected that you're pursuing or conducting independently, and you're doing original research, and you will actually become the expert in your field, and you will also get the highest academic degree that there is in Germany. Okay, so moving forward, yes, this is actually the main building of the university, the Schloss. So a doctoral candidacy, what will you need to do if you would like to do a PhD in Minster? You will first of all need to find a supervisor. I think that's quite general. And you will have to get an acceptance for supervision. In many cases, you will also need a PhD regulations agreement or supervision agreement, which is another bureaucratic step, but it actually gives you some freedom and some rights too, because you might agree on supervision details that are helpful. Once you have all the agreements and you would like to start, you need to get enrolled at the university. And we do not have tuition fees at Minster University, but there is a semester fee, which is obligatory, and it covers administration fees. And it also covers the transportation ticket, the semester ticket for public transport, which is fairly nice. You can use it widely. You can take the buses for free. You can even take your friend with you for free at certain times. And you can also take trains to cities that are not really very close to Münster. Like you can go to Cologne, or you can even go to the Netherlands, to Enschede. Or yeah, I think they even have new connections to going to Hanover. You can move quite well within the region, North Rhine-Westphalia. And a bit of Germany is covered this way. So if you do field research or something and you need to move around, this is quite nice. And cost-wise, it's 311 euro this semester, and it always raises a bit. So what's important is that there are no central regulations for a PhD. That means each faculty actually has its own regulations, and it also has an own PhD examination office. So this is quite decentral, but generally you can write a monograph or a cumulative thesis, depending on the discipline and your agreement. Okay, so the Graduate Center, who are we? We are a central unit for all young researchers, for PhD students, but also for postdocs. And why are we here? Basically, it's also historically and traditionally, since everyone was doing an individual PhD, or the majority, we need some central structures to support, and this is what we do. We offer general advice that is beyond the academic realm, and we also have some special advice for international doctoral candidates, so in terms of visa regulations or understanding German bureaucracy, we're here to help. We offer quite a lot of workshops, both in academic skills like writing, presenting, but also in transferable skills like project management and leadership skills. And yeah, and we also provide networking opportunities, which are of interest for all doctoral candidates and postdocs, but maybe in particular for international doctoral candidates who need to establish a network and find friends being abroad. We also have a European doctoral summer school with our partners, University of York and Maastricht University in the Netherlands. So this doctoral summer school has been started a few years ago, and it's annually. And this year it will be in June, and it's a virtual event and you can take place. So yeah, this is an opportunity to connect to other universities as well, which all doctoral candidates can take the opportunity to. We have a PhD buddy program to get new PhD students on board. And we also have projects like Inch by Inch, which is a community garden, so that PhD students can go and relax their mind and do something else together. And we have Minster Exchange, which is an intergenerational project that links people from the university with citizens of Minster who are not working anymore, who are retired, but who are still quite active and interested in research. Okay. So what might be of interest for you as well is how the experience might be different in Minster and in Brazil. So the science system and academic culture in Germany might be quite different. We have professors who are quite, who have a lot of freedom and are respected quite a lot. So there's freedom of research. They are basically, professors can decide what exactly their focus is. And they are involved in research and in training and in teaching, and also, of course, in application for funding. So they are really busy, and they might not always have time to answer everything that you might ask them, but yeah, they are quite renowned and successful. So we have at Minster University in particular strong departments and faculties. So it might be different in other German universities like the University of München. But in Minster, departments have quite a lot of power and also decide many things by themselves, as you can see with the PhD regulations. Yeah, so the university system is in general quite hierarchical and formal, but nevertheless, it's possible to navigate. And what are the values, the research values? These are independence, of course. This is the main value that you will encounter. People expect you to be an independent thinker and also to work independently and organize yourself. Okay, so I think, yeah. And then doctoral programs at Minster University. So we have quite a lot. We have 138 disciplines, and some of the graduate schools, the structural schools that are very strong in Minster are in mathematics. They are in the cluster of excellence, so they have a lot of funding. They have a lot of extra structures, and religion and politics as well, which is a bit older than the mathematics school. We have battery research, and sim impress is cells emotions is cellular and imaging. And then we have a graduate school in evolution, which is interdisciplinary. And then we have the smart network, which is kind of a head for graduate schools from the humanities and social sciences. Exactly, and many more. Yeah, I think Anya will continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sabine. Thank you, Anya, for your nice talking about University of Münster and also about your PhD program. That it's very interesting to know. And so as well, any questions that you have, we will be able to respond in the first Q&A section, right? So thanks again. And now I would like to invite Laura Redondo to moderate the round table with the alumni from USP and the Minster University. So please, Laura.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, everyone, for organizing this nice workshop. Thank you all for watching us. We are very happy to see so many people here. I would like to already invite our alumni to join us with their cameras. So we have 4 of them here, 2 from Minster and 2 from Sao Paulo. And without further ado, I would like to ask them to introduce themselves briefly. So we have here, just to name them, so we have Mario Pesch and Ursula Dahm from the University of Minster. Both were in Sao Paulo recently. And then we have Jung Hang Park and Harrison Massimo, both USP, former USP, or better said, WWU alumni who study at USP. So I would like to ask them in this order. So Mario, Ursula, Jung, and Harrison to briefly introduce themselves, like a minute each. And well, basically tell us what they are researching, so their institution, where they are at the moment, what kind of research state they had in Minster or in Sao Paulo, so which institute, which area of research, how long did they stay abroad, and if this was within or without a Cotutela framework. So would you like to start, Mario, introducing yourself? And then you can hop, you don't have to wait for my moderation, you can hop to the next one.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Mario. I'm from the Institute for Geoinformatics at the WWU in Minster. So we are an institute which we are handling with, in the field of geography and informatics. And I had a stay for 2.5 months at the USP, at the Institute for Astronomy, Geophysics, and Atmospheric Sciences. And in this, doing this research stay, we try to develop a citizen science project where we want to educate people how to build their own small measurement devices. And this is also mainly my research field at the moment. So I'm trying to develop tools and both software and hardware tools for people to learn programming and get environmental data.
So I guess you're done, so I continue. Hello, I'm Ursula, also from Minster. I'm a PhD student from the Faculty of Law in Minster, and I studied law there as well and worked for the Office for Environmental and Planning Law at the faculty. And during my PhD research, I went to USP twice, in 2018 for 3 months, and in 2020 again for 1 month. It was planned to be 4, but due to the pandemic, I had to leave earlier. And there I was connected to the faculty of law as well, and the faculty of architecture and urbanism, because my PhD is about sustainable city planning. So, but from a legal point of view, so I could do research in both faculties, which was quite interesting because I had this theoretical approach from the law faculty, but from the faculty of architecture and urbanism, I could see the practical transformance in cities, and I was taken to field trips within the cities, which was quite interesting because Sao Paulo as a metropolis was so different from Münster as a medium-sized city. So yeah, for me it was really enriching for my research.
Hello everyone, my name is Jung, and in 2018 I was doing a master's in the Institute of Biomedical Science at the University of Sao Paulo. And at that time I had the opportunity to participate in a WWU program with the University of Minster, where I work in the Department of Plant Biology. And I spent 6 months there from October 2018 to April 2019, and it was really a good experience because I had the opportunity to work in a research group outside of Brazil, getting to know people from different cultures, doing some networking, but also because I thought it would look good in my curriculum to have this international experience, international research experience. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, guten tag, and bon dia para. My name is Harrison. I am an architect, and I'm a PhD student from the Faculty of Architecture and Urbanism of the University of São Paulo. And nowadays, I'm also a professor at the Federal Institute of Ceará State, where I am talking just right now. My supervisor at USP is Luciana Roya from the Faculty of Architecture and Urbanism. And I stayed in Minster about 2 years ago for almost 3-month research stay. I'm doing a research. My thesis is regarding urban planning and housing policies, specifically in the Fortaleza city. It was an interesting experience to compare different planning systems, different urban planning systems between São Paulo, the big city in Brazil, and Fortaleza, the 5th city in Brazil, and also Minster. And when I stayed in Minster at the Institute of Geography, hosted by Professor Samuel Mosner. So, as said before, Minster don't have architecture faculty, but we exchange a lot of information, methodologies, and comparative approach between our cities, linking the urban planning subjects and also the urban geography aspects. That's it.
Well, thank you all so much for your introductions. I think it's a little bit clearer probably for our audience what kind of international mobility students and young researchers can profit from. And I'm pretty sure it was an enriching experience for all of you. And maybe just to inform the audience as well, the goal of this short round of introduction of our alumni is to give you some personal inputs from the alumni about their experience, be it on the very personal level, but also on the academic aspects. And we are very open here for having their testimonials being about the very positive aspects of their stay, but also maybe some difficulties they have faced in the application procedure, funding, the stay itself. Were there any hurdles, bureaucratic, personal, cultural? So I would like to ask you also another round, maybe now starting with Harrison and going backwards. How did your project was? How did you develop instance? And would you please share a little bit about your stay as well, some positive or negative aspects of your stay, and how did it help your research? How did it contribute to your research? And what was the hardest point maybe of the whole experience? So if you could all tell a little bit about this aspect as well.
Okay, I will try to briefly point some information about this. Actually, I received a message from the USP mail list showing some possibilities to apply for a scholarship, but my supervisor in Brazil, Luciana Roya, has some connections with WWU, some previous connections. Actually, she stayed 1 or 2 years before that after I applied. So as I am doing a PhD research in urban planning, I was looking for some connections at the WWU, and I looked for the professor, and I found Professor Morgan with some subjects, some points that, so he is a geographer, a urban geographer, and I try to make a working plan. So actually it's not my thesis is not totally linked with his research agenda, but we discussed a working plan in my research day. I forgot to talk that it wasn't a Cotutela. It's a research day about 3 months. And when I went to Minster, then we started to work together with other PhD students and trying to make some connections. After this period, discussing my thesis, I had the opportunity to present some research that we are developing our lab at USP, and also to discuss with some PhD students, supervised by someone else, Professor Mosner, and then we try to build a research agenda together. So I think this is a interest point. So it's not the same research agenda, but we can build some converging points to discuss during my research stay and after
that. Joe, would you like to follow Harrison?
Okay. So I first learned about this program from a leaflet that I saw in the bus stop panel in my campus, and it really caught my attention to have this double degree during my master's. However, I quickly realized that it would be very difficult to assimilate the project of my master's here in Brazil with the laboratory at the University of Minster. So I decided to do a totally different project in Minster. Here in Brazil, I was working with bacteria and molecular biology, but in Minster, I decided to go for a plant molecular biology research. So with that in mind, I started to look on the university's website to look for potential PIs that worked in this field. And I found Professor Anja von Schieven working on, she was leading a project on effects on complex glycosylation in plants, and it really interested me. So I sent her an email explaining the situation, and she quickly replied to me saying that she would be happy to have me as her exchange student. And she already put me in contact with her postdoc, Dr. Heidi, who was already working on this project, and she would be responsible for directly supervising me in the laboratory and there. In the beginning, it was a little difficult because I did not have a strong background on plant biology. However, as time passed by, I started to become more independent, and they also gave me some freedom to conduct experiments by myself. And it was really good because it boosted my learning and experience with the understanding of the research that I was doing there. Yeah, I think that's it.
I was asked by my supervisor whether I wanted to go to Brazil, funded by the Brazilian Center. She just called me once and asked me, and I didn't know about this opportunity, but she was already engaged in this project, Cities and Climate, and I thought, yeah, why not? Would be enriching to go. And she already had this contact with Professor Massoneto from the Faculty of Law and with the Professor Rouyer, who is also the supervisor of Harrison. And I wrote an email and asked whether it's possible to come, and I presented my my research, and it all worked very flexible and uncomplicated, and they said yes, it would be interesting and nice to do the research together, especially because of the background of the project Cities in Climate. So I guess this process about elaborating the research project and getting into contact with each other was kind of uncomplicated. And when I was at USP, first, I think it was little bit difficult to find the institutions, like how is the library working, where can I work, because I didn't know that at USP that there's not this middle part of the university, like those research assistants which are working at WWU, for example. So here at WWU, it is like the research assistants who are working for the professors have their own offices, and if you're coming from abroad, you can just go there and you have a group and maybe working space, and it's all kind of more institutionalized. So I was missing this part at USP, but when I talked to Professor Royer and Professor Massonetto, then they introduced me to their master students, for example, and then it was easier to get into contact with people and to discuss the research project at the university itself.
Yeah, for my project, I think we already had a Brazilian professor at our institute. So Gilberto Camara had one of this Brazil chair, and therefore there was some kind of connection to Brazil for research projects. And also colleagues of mine went to the USP and also to Sao Paulo before to do some workshops, and therefore there was some contact also through Anya, for example, to the professors. And so in my experience, the first contact was the same as Ursula said, quite easy, as there were some contacts we could just use it. So we tried to find a good plan for this 2 month stay. What could be done during the 2 months? How can we have a profit on both sides, that I could share some knowledge which we are working here, and also get knowledge from other PhD students in Sao Paulo. And during this day, I experienced the main issue for myself was the language issue, as I was not speaking Portuguese very good in the beginning. There was not so much time before my stay to learn it. So this is one thing I would improve on my personal side before I would go to Brazil again. But all in all, also with English, everything was fine at the university. And also after getting in contact with a lot of people during the first 2 weeks, also getting introduced to all the other PhD students, it was a quite nice day. And also I had a lot of opportunities to share my work and also go to other places and share it at a conference, for example. So all in all, it was a very good stay. But to enjoy the stay much more, for me, it would be better to speak more Portuguese, because I think it's much easier to get in contact with all the people. Even English is fine, but the first contact is always nice in a different language.
Great, thank you so much. And with those final words from Mario, we also, and going to an end, we have just a last minute for our session since we are already very much ahead of time. But what would you recommend, very, very briefly? So you all, so Mario recommends learning Portuguese beforehand. So what would you like to recommend for people who are interested in doing a research stay within their doctoral program in Minster or in Sao Paulo? So some quick words, and if you'd like to start, Ursula, also once again backwards, what would you recommend for the newcomers?
I would also recommend to learn the language before, because that was a little bit difficult in the beginning. And if there's enough time and the stay is long enough, I would apply for a student card at USP, so you can participate in the sport activities as well, and then you get new contacts as well, and you can eat in the cafeteria, and things in the university city are much easier with this card, I guess.
Edison, do you have any suggestions for those who are going to Minster?
Okay, I would like to say that you have to enjoy the university and the city. So with open mind to learn about also some scientific and academic different methodologies and approach, but also the economic and political and administrative and institutional systems. I think it's interesting to compare with Brazil reality.
Great. What about you, John?
I would recommend you to organize and do some planning on your experiments and objectives before and during your stay in Minster, because the laboratories in the Minster University are very well equipped, and the structure is very good, so you can do a lot of experiments and a lot of things in a short amount of time if you organize very well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your inputs. You are very well experienced, so it's very nice to have your opinions and sharing your own time abroad. So basically, we now have a question and answers session, and I would like to ask you to stay here with us, you four alumni, and I would like to invite Bruno to join me in this Q&A round. So you audience have been sending us some questions, and I am receiving those at the moment. So you can send us the questions via YouTube, and some of them can be to the students, but also regarding the presentations we already had. And I also invite my colleagues who did the presentations, because I believe some are directed to the university. So Anya, I see you there. And I don't know if Bruno is going to be the one who is answering for USP, and Kavita. So let me see here. So one of the first questions here is about the language. If the program at WWU is 100% in German, and Anya, would you like to answer that?
Well, first, I would like to mention that German normally is not a prerequisite for doing a PhD at Minster University. But of course, it depends a little bit on the subject, right? Because if you're going to study texts and article material that is only available in German, of course, you need German, right? So it really depends on the program. And it's also always the case that some of the courses is in German, and some of them are in English, and so it really depends. We cannot say yes or no.
Yes, thank you. And one question is if there are language requirements like certificates for English knowledge or German knowledge, and if they are required for a Cotutela doctorate program. So as I understand, so yes, please go ahead.
No, yeah, of course. You need to prove that you speak English well, and it depends on the doctoral program which kind of certificates are accepted, but it's normally the usual ones, the ones that you know too. So there shouldn't be a big difference between Minster and São Paulo. Yes, exactly. And what is also, I mean, we are speaking about PhDs here, right? So something to bear in mind is that in case, for instance, you need Portuguese knowledge for our students, German knowledge for the candidates from USP, the professor might also certify that you have enough language knowledge in order to perform your research. This has also happened in the past too.
Yeah. And does the university offer German courses for arriving students?
Yes, there are German courses that can be they can be booked and done, and details I would say just maybe contact us if you have any specific demand, and then we can give you more information about this. Yeah.
Great. So we have been receiving many questions to the University of Münster, apparently. And for instance, here another one, maybe I don't know, Sabine could try to answer this one. If the university offers accommodation for postdoctoral researchers.
Yeah. Okay. So unfortunately, we don't have like this easy way of okay, you're coming, so you will receive an accommodation, but there are guest houses. So PhD students can apply for housing for the guest researchers, and they can actually also apply for student housing. So if you know you will do your Cotutela and you know next year you will come to Münster, you can actually get on the waiting list for student housing. And once you're here and you're enrolled, you can get that student housing as well. And we from the Graduate Center also support you during the accommodation search. And I think the Brazil Center also supports a bit, right?
Yes, absolutely. And for this matter, we highly recommend you to contact our colleague Katia dos Santos, who is at the moment like an expert of finding the best ways of finding housing in Münster. Maybe Sabine, you could also answer this one, how hard it is to get an acceptance letter from a WWU professor. How difficult is it?
Okay, so the answer is it depends, I guess. I mean, it's professors, so you're contacting them directly via email, or if you have contacted the Brazil Center before and you establish a contact, it will always depend on how well your research fits to the professor's research. So I think if you have a really, really good match and the professor at this point is not super busy supervising 10 other PhDs, then the chances are good. If you just send a mail, like that's not very personal, you should always have your inquiry tailor cut. Like you should sort of say, Professor X, I read your paper and it fits super well, and I would be so highly motivated to work with you and your team in Münster because my research would benefit in that kind of way, and you could benefit from my research. Then I think chances are okay, they are good, but you should really do some effort in applying.
Yeah, absolutely. May I compliment? Yes, please compliment. Yes, please. Yes. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. I think what really helps is to try to put yourself in the position of a professor who receives hundreds of emails from potential PhD candidates asking for supervision, and just imagine how you might tell him something that really interests him. Yes, exactly. Like how could you add to his research? I think this taking this perspective helps you. And I wanted to also say that, of course, if you need help, if you have contacted the professor and you have not received any answer, just let us know, because sometimes we know the person, and so we might help. And another idea is also to not contact directly the professor, but contact persons in his team, because they might help you like establishing this contact to the professor. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good hint. And like Ursula said, the professors have research assistants, and they are always a very good contact point because they know lots of the professor's work, and they are usually reachable and very nice people. Also, I would like to comment that someone asked if the Brazil Center could help finding a supervisor for this Cotutela program? Well, the Brazil Center is here to help in any matters regarding studying or doing research in Minster, and of course we can help you identify maybe the most suitable persons in the university in order to receive you as a host. Of course, we are from several backgrounds, so we are not very well versed in astrophysics, for instance. So we depend on your own knowledge to identify the supervisors, but definitely I'm here in Sao Paulo and my colleagues are in Germany, willing to help you in any matters regarding a sort of matchmaking. And so I think our time is up, as I've been informed. And I would like to give the word back to Bruno, but thank once again all our 4 alumni for taking the time to join us here, and wish them all the best. And I hope they have inspired you for applying for a position in Germany or in Sao Paulo. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura, to moderate this section, and also thank to all our students to give their experience to all of them. That is very nice opportunity to hear about that. So thanks again, and now moving forward, I'd like to invite again Anna to talk about the Cotutela process at the University of Minster. And then after we'll talk about the same process at the University of São Paulo. So thanks again, Anya, for your time. So you can start.
Thank you very much. I'm going to put the presentation, and I also want to invite my colleague Sabina already to join me, because she's going to hold part of the presentation. Okay, so here we go. Okay. So Doctorate with Cotutela. In this session, we want to give you a brief overview on Cotutela procedures and, of course, our agreement. And we want to also explain the main aspects that need to be considered by interested candidates and professors, mainly from the side of the University of Minster, because later Kavita will focus on the candidates from USP. Okay, so now I directly hand over to Sabina.
Thank you, Anya. Okay, so before we start to go into the details of how you apply for a Cotutela and what are the steps that you need to take, we were thinking it's kind of nice to think about what a Cotutela is and what the benefits and challenges would be. And since it's a joint degree and you need to meet some regulations, of course, there are some challenges like finding a second supervisor, and also to meet the requirements of the PhD regulations. You need quite a lot of time to prepare, and you might need some financial support for the mobility going from Brazil to Minster or from Minster to Sao Paulo. But there are a lot of benefits of a joint doctoral degree, and one of them is that your degree will be recognized by both countries, as you will have it from both universities, and you have the chance of experiencing 2 different research environments, which are on different continents, and each university has its own academic culture and academic relationships to other universities. So you get new perspectives for your research, and you can work with different people. As Ursula mentioned, that she realized in USP there were no middle researchers between, like that she was missing in Minster, that she was missing in USP. But that's an experience, and that's how you get to know about it. And you can also establish quite a wide international network, both professionally and personally. So you have a lot of friends from different places. And you will grow also and become more autonomous, of course, and you experience a different setting. For instance, if you come to Minster, you can also like benefit from the doctoral summer school, and you can, take advantage of the relationships that we have with York University or Maastricht University and participate in those events. And I imagine people from Minster will benefit a lot from the relationships that the USP has with different universities. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so it has been mentioned already before, but I really want to highlight that the aim of this recently signed joint Cotutela agreement between USP and WWU is to promote internationalization of doctoral studies and to foster cooperation in doctoral education, thereby stimulating contacts and collaborations on different levels, right, involving students and professors. So the doctoral students are jointly supervised by professors from WWU and USP, and they awarded the doctorate that is recognized by both institutions, which means they get 2 certificates, but only 1 doctoral degree. And this point is quite important, actually, because it relates to common misconception that Kotutel means 2 degrees, which is not correct, right? And Kotutel is also different from a joint degree, in which students follow a doctoral program that was developed jointly by both institutions. So just keep in mind that Kotutel means 1 doctoral degree with 2 diplomas, 2 certificates. Furthermore, it's important to highlight that the framework agreement regulates only some fundamental aspects of these Kotutel procedures between USP and WWU, while the details need to be fixed in an individual joint supervision agreement between the 2 professors and the PhD candidate. And the template for this individual agreement can be provided either by the Brazil Center or by the Pró-Reitoria for Graduate Studies of USP. So here you can find the steps that you need to consider to find a supervisor and to ask for joint supervision. So the first thing you should do is inform your own supervisor at your home university about your interest in a Kotutel PhD. Ask if he or she has contacts already to professors from the other university. If not, try to find a second supervisor yourself and propose him or her to your professor. Then if you have trouble finding a second supervisor from the partner university, ask for support, of course. So the candidates of USP, you may ask the Brazil Center. This has been mentioned already, because we can provide you even with a list of those professors that have already been collaborating with USP and Brazil. And the list of members is also available on our website. If you go to our website, Brazil Center, About Us, and then you have a list of members. And of course, you need to ask both supervisors for joint supervision. And if you're still in the master degrees, or if you don't have a supervisor yet, keep in mind to ask them right at the beginning, once you have one, if they would accept such a Kotutel procedure, right? And ask, well, do this, enter this process together with him. So these are our recommendations, basically. And here are some aspects that need to be taken into account. So while preparing for the Kotutel joint supervision agreement. So first, very important, check the regulations of both of your doctoral programs and find out the admission and other requirements to be fulfilled on both sides. Unfortunately, the regulations on Minster's side are available only in German language. You can find them on our website. If you go to the section research, and then to the section doctoral studies, and then to the section doctorate degree courses, there you can find a list of the courses and also a list of the regulations. And of course, if you have any trouble, just ask us and we see if we can help. And then, of course, your the corresponding department will help you too. And then check the framework agreement and the joint supervision template, and discuss the main parameters with your supervisor, such as duration, calendar, examination committee, language, the denomination of the title to be achieved, because they're different doctoral PhD titles here in Germany. So this has to be discussed and defined too. Then, very important, take into account that you need to spend at least 6 months in a research stay at the partner university, and that some programs require even more than that. For instance, the biology department here in Minster, they require 12 months. But of course, just don't worry, because yes, we can give you more detailed information about this later. Of course, you need financial support to fund your stay at the partner university, and keep in mind that application deadlines might be many months or even half a year or a year before your stay. So our recommendation is to request the Cotutela procedure as soon as possible, but no later than 12 months before the completion of your PhD at USP, and even earlier at WWU, but of course, depending on the length of the research stay. And here you find a list of some of the funding opportunities by the German side. So candidates from Münster, they may apply for the DAD stipends for PhD candidates. The funding is up to 12 months, and funding is possible twice during the entire doctorate, but with separate applications. You need to apply twice. And it may not be within 6 months, right? And then, the candidates from USP, they can apply to this joint program by CAPES and DAD. It's called Binationally Supervised Doctorate Degree with Cotutela. But USP will talk about this later too. And then we also recommend you to have a look at the DAD scholarship database. It's funding-guide.de. And candidates from Münster also have the possibility to contact our research funding support department called SAFIR. And they also have a section on their website, Promotionsförderung, and they have a list of available funding possibilities. So here you see our contacts in São Paulo, Laura, Katis, and me in Münster. This is where I'm sitting right now in this building. And Sabina, yes, this is the graduate center on the right side, and this is the email and the contact details from the graduate center. And now I have an announcement to make, which is not really related to PhD possibilities, but to postdoc. It's an event organized by Münster University together with other German universities in Brazil. So Laura's the one who's taking care of this. It's an information seminar on postdoctoral opportunities in Germany, of course, also at WWU Minster. The first day of this event is already in 2 days, on April 28th. But if you are interested, so please apply. You can still register. And on May 9th and 10th, there will be opportunity for individual matchmaking. So if you have friends or colleagues that might be interesting, or even the professors that are watching us right now, of course, they can also inform their group, their team about this possibility. And last but not least, Münster is waiting for you. We are waiting for you. So here are some pictures of our beautiful city. And last but not least, thank you very much. So now Kavita is going on, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Anna, again for your presentation. Also, Sabine, for these nice slides from your beautiful city. Many thanks. And now I'd like to invite Kavita to talk about the Cotutela process at the University of São Paulo. So Kavita, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Bruno. I guess everyone can see my screen and slides already. So I'll just take an overview over a few more details about the Cotutela agreement and some agreements that we have and funding opportunities as well. So our team at the Provost for Graduate Studies, specifically for these international agreements, is me, Kavita, and also Professor Bruno, that you already know, and also Daniela Rodrigues. Yeah. So if you want to know more about double degrees in general, not only with the University of Minster, you can go through our website, prpg.usp.br, and then internationalization and double or multiple degrees here. And we also have more information about internationalization here and the print program for scholarships that I'll talk a little bit more later here as well. And we also invite you to follow us in the social media and Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or here on YouTube. So what is this double degree or Cotutela agreement that we have in general? So the goal is to students to have one research in 2 international institutions, and it's directed to graduate students, both master students and PhD students, who are looking to complete their research together with partner universities. It's different from the sandwich program as it guarantees one diploma from each university involved in the agreement. So in this case, one diploma from the University of São Paulo and the other one from WWU. It also enables collaboration between universities that are similar in terms of excellence, and it also ensures personal and professional international experience for the graduate students involved. So the double degree at USP, we already have like more than 600 agreements since 2014 with more than 250 partner universities across Europe, America, and other regions. And also, of course, with Germany here that we're talking about, and specifically with German partner universities, we already have 32 agreements or 32 students between USP and 14 different German partners from different schools at the University of São Paulo. So what we want to highlight here is that we have agreements with German institutions from human science or biological science, or also mathematics. Someone asked about mathematics and chemistry, architecture, urbanism. So different areas within our university that have these partnerships with the German institutions. And specifically with WWU, we're just starting this agreement in the doctoral level, but we already have 16 agreements or 16 students that engaged with WWU, mostly in the master level in the past few years, and mostly in the biological science area. But we want to spread this partnership specifically with WWU to other areas within the university as well. And that's the reason that we wanted to celebrate this agreement and have this workshop to invite all of you from different areas to also engage, that now it's easier to enroll in this. So from the University of São Paulo, we have 3 different types of agreement. So the first one is the one we call specific for just one student. We also have a general agreement that allow multiple students from one doctoral program to enroll in the double degree agreement. And that's the 2 types of agreement that we had before with WWU. But from now on, we have the USP agreement that applies for all doctoral programs between USP and WWU. We also have this USP agreement, general agreement in the university level with other universities, and we want to spread even more this idea. But it's important that you know that with WWU, we already have it signed. So what is the step-by-step for the University of São Paulo students? So first, talk to your supervisor at USP and look for a supervisor at WWU. Then you have to fill in the joint supervision Kotel agreement. I'll show you just a template on how it works. If you need the document, just let us know. I'll also give you, let you know our email contacts to get the template. Then after filling the joint supervision agreement, you get the signatures from both supervisors, the directors from both schools from each side, and also the doctoral candidate that is applying for this agreement. Then at USP, you have to get the official approval at your school, at your unit, and that can be like 2 or 3 different instances. Then you add the documents to the Sistema USP or USP system, get approval from our provost for graduate studies, and then you get the final approval and you can start your activities at a partner university. And we usually say that it takes up to 3 months to get all this approval. So have in mind that you have to start the process a little bit more than 3 months before you plan to start your activity. So try to plan it in advance, so then you can have enough time to get all the approvals and signatures before you go to WWU and start the research over there. So the template for the Cotutela agreement, we have here the first page. You're gonna fill in the topic of your thesis, what is the double degree, the dissertation regulations, and some more details about your thesis. Also, the name and more information about your supervisor and both supervisors from both universities. What is the periods that you plan at USP or at the WWU? So how much time do you plan to spend, and what are you planning to do in both sites in each period? And then get signatures in the last page from the supervisors, the directors, and also the doctoral candidates. Okay, so be aware, to be eligible for the joint supervision, you must prove by a confirmation letter by a supervisor from each partner institution agrees to jointly supervise your doctoral research project. Just to remember once more that Anya already said, at least 6 months in total for the doctoral students should be spent at the host or each institution. So doctoral candidates are also responsible for covering costs of living, costs of accommodation, applicable fees, if any, at WWU, costs of mobility between home and host institution, the fees for the required visa, and if required, fees for health and other insurance, such as personal liability insurance. And the candidates are also responsible for ensuring sufficient insurance at the host institution. And to complete the doctoral studies, the candidate will have one oral examination defense that will be conducted jointly with both universities. And you can write and have the final examination, the defense, in English, Portuguese, or German. You can decide that and put that in the jointly agreement. And the candidate is also responsible to search for scholarships or any other financial support to cover expenses and eventually any fees that could be involved. Okay, so the funding opportunities from the Brazilian side, we want to highlight 2 of them. Ania already highlighted other opportunities for WWU students and also for Brazilian students within the CAPS DAD opportunity. But we also have CAPS Sprint at the University of São Paulo. The goal is to encourage this internationalization, and you can find more information about the CAPS Sprint and the calls within our website, and also within the calls for 2022. So we had more than 400 scholarships this year, and more are coming for next year. So be aware of that. And the thematic areas cover almost all doctoral programs from the University of São Paulo that are included in the print program. So we have the areas of translational plant and animal science, health and diseases, earth and space, arts and humanities, and technology. And in the print website, you can check where your doctoral program is included in which thematic area. Okay. And if you have a scholarship from FAPESP, then you may also apply for the BEP, Bolsa Estágio de Pesquisa no Exterior, and PhD candidates can apply for up to 12 months abroad. So if you already have the scholarship from FAPESP, when you apply for the BEP, it interrupts your scholarship in Brazil, and during the period at a foreign institution, the scholarship receives a differentiated scholarship that covers the expenses in the host institution. And then when you get back to Brazil, you get back the scholarship from FAPESP, okay, the Brazilian one. I know that's a lot of information, but I'm pretty sure you already have more questions. So we're gonna have a Q&A session right now to solve some questions and answer some questions that you may have in the chat, in the YouTube. But don't worry, if you still have some questions and you want to get in touch with us, please, you can send your questions to prpgconvenios@usp.br, or if you want, you guys can book time to talk to us. You can send your email to dunr@usp.br, or you can just phone us. Then we will be happy to and glad to talk to you. Thank you. Bruno?
Thank you, Kavita. Thanks so much for your presentation. Now we are doing the last Q&A in this event. So we already have some question here that I want to ask maybe to Anya to answer this question. It's about if there is some possibilities to study in the field of odontology.
Well, yes, we do have odontology. However, I must say at this point that especially medicine and odontology, they follow a very different regulations, and that has to be, I mean, I would really recommend you to write us an email, and then we can check, because we don't have experience with double degree in odontology. So this would be, at least from my side, like a first case. But still, we were very interested in helping you. So we might even pave the way, right, for future candidates. So just send us an email. Yeah, but of course, research stays are possible. Of course, I'm not quite sure about the double degree. I believe not. But we'll see.
Okay, Anya, thank you. And also, we have another question about the fee. If the Brazilian students need to pay the semester fee at the University of Minster. So I'd like someone can answer this question.
Yeah, I'll answer it. Yes, if it's a Cotutela agreement, then you really need to be enrolled while you're here. You don't need to be enrolled for the whole entire PhD degree. So if you're in, or actually maybe you have to, but then you don't need to have to pay the fees, right? But at least for the stay when you're in Germany, when you're in Minster, then you have to pay the semester fee.
Yeah, just let me comment, because we have this case in many well, this question in many cases and different agreements with partner universities from Brazil, and we don't even call it like, it's, of course the translation is semester fee, but we try not to speak about like inscrição or semester fee, but a social fee, because it's right, you need to pay more than 300 euros, but you get a lot of return for that, because as Sabina mentioned before, you get free transportation for the whole state of North Rhine-Westphalia. So just imagine, I mean, if you had to pay for buses and trains by yourself, you would probably reach 150 to 2,200 euros or even more in a semester, right? And then this also covers help for the restaurants of the university. You have access to sport facilities, which are also very with a very low price. You can engage in these sport activities. So it's like a contribution you pay for many services that you get in that you get in return, right? But yes, it needs to be paid while you are in Minster. Yeah, but only while you are in Minster, as far as I know.
Yeah, and it's for the whole semester. It's not that much actually, because yeah, it also, like, another benefit is that you can live in student housing, which is fairly more affordable than other housing options in Minster. So actually it gives you more than it costs, and some people would even like to have it even though they don't study. So,
yes,
yeah.
right. I would like to.
And it's important to highlight that this fee is for the semester. It's not per month. It's just for the semester. So as a student in the Cotutela, you need to stay at least or only one semester in Minster. So you only have to pay for once this fee.
Bruno, there is also a question from Fabio. He applied for the print program in 2022, and he would like to know if he can still apply for the Cotutela agreement as well. So maybe I can comment on that as his USP student. And yes, Fabio, you can apply for the joint Cotutela agreement. And that you have to do that. So you have to have the letter of recommendation from both supervisors. So look for a supervisor from WWU and then send us put together all the documentation, get the signatures in the agreement and the approval within your unit. And then it will be sent by your unit, your school to our office. Okay. And I guess you still have time for that. So just check your deadlines and times for traveling and everything. So just make sure you still have time for get all the approvals before you travel to WWU.
Yes, and I think it's the same from Gabriela question. She asking if she still be able to participate in the Kotel because she's already a doctoral USP student. But from our side, it's possible. She just need to be attention by the time. She still she needs to have 6 months before the defense to do the Kotel. But from the review side, depends on the program. So you need to check with your supervisor and also with the supervisors from Minster University to see if it's possible to be engaged in the PhD program.
Yeah, and maybe just I would like to compliment that really those who are interested in such a Kotel procedure together with Minster, they can really send us an email in the Resource Center because this is a new agreement for us and we are just starting. So it's very interesting for us to know who's really interested and who's engaged and what are the problems you might encounter, so that we develop experience that other students in the future might that might be helpful for them in the future. So don't hesitate to contact us. Either Laura in Sao Paulo, well, she's even in the same time zone as you are in Sao Paulo, and of course in Minster. So we'll be happy to assist you.
And also there is a question from Gabriela. She asked if this doctoral agreement is only for former students, alumni, or for current students. Just to make sure, it's for doctoral candidates, which means actual students who are enrolled in their doctoral programs. So if you are enrolled, you are a doctoral student, you can apply for the agreement. Just be aware of the deadlines and the times for applying. So you need time for approval, but also remember, Anya said that you have to have at least 12 months before finishing your PhD program to apply for the agreement. I'm not sure if there are more questions in the chat.
No, it's finished.
So we are very punctual.
Yeah, very German, very German.
German time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to thank again for everyone to be here, to all the speakers, also all the students and the audience to be here. That was a very nice opportunity to know more about this agreement. That's a new agreement, actually, this global agreement that we have signed this year. It's it's also new for us at USP, so I think it would be a nice opportunity to be in touch and to know more about the possibilities in both universities. So I'd like to thank again, and if you'd like to say final words, please.
Yeah, Bruno, I would just like to thank you too. Well, the whole team of USP, actually. I already mentioned it, right? To Niels, to Matsu, to Kavita, thank you, and to you especially, but also the people, the alumni that have joined us today. Laura has already said these thank you words, but I'm just wanted to repeat this. It was great to have you here because I think nothing is more important than having persons talking about their personal experience, right? So this is really helpful. Thank you very much, and of course also the team that is behind today's webinar, Katy dos Santos. I'm sure you will have contact with her in the future as far as you are really interested in the Cotutela and come to Minster. Something we didn't mention, we even have like encounters and meetings by the Brazilians that are actually here. So this is organized by Katy, and of course, thank you, Sabina, also for joining us from the Graduate Center. And we are, as you said, Bruno, this is very new for us. It's this Cotutela, we only have it with one other university, Minster. So Minster has it with one other. So this is very, it's a new process, and we are really, happy about all the future exchange activities and, of course, the future research that will come out of all of this exchange and collaboration. So I don't know, Laura, do you want to add something?
Well, just thank you, Anya. Also, from my side, many thanks for watching us for all this whole 2 hours. Thank you for staying with us here, and thank you for all the back office team here, the people who made it possible. And yes, absolutely, do take the time to rewatch it if you want to. We are going to make the presentations also available on our website. So if you want to know a little bit more, you can always write us in the Brazil Center or in the Pró-Reitoria de Pós-Graduação. Don't hesitate. There might be many questions that are still open. So don't worry, we are here for you anytime. I'm in Sao Paulo, as Anya said. The colleagues are in Minster. And we are definitely open for supporting you in any aspects of your research stay. We are very interested in the mobility in both ways. So yes, let us know if you need any assistance or if you have any questions. But from my side, thank you very much, and I wish you all a great week ahead.
Okay, Sabine, do you also want to share a few words?
Thank you. I'm just briefly going to say thank you for everyone for organizing, and it was my pleasure of participating, and also thank you for everyone watching and asking questions. And I would be really happy to see some of those who watch this event in Minster and help them get them on board as doctoral candidates in Minster. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, I also would like to thank everyone from the WWU team, from USP team as well, who made it possible for us to have this agreement. It's a real pleasure. We're really glad to have it. And also to our support team that made it happen technologically as well, which is really important for us to connect globally. But I just want to say that we're happy that we signed the agreement. But for this agreement to be a real success, we need students, the doctoral candidates, to get enrolled So please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. If you have any questions, we will be more than happy to help you with the agreements, to fulfill the individual documents, or to get in touch with potential supervisors from both sides. So please just get in touch and let us know how we can help you as well. Okay, thank you very much, and hope to see some of you soon, or at least the documents coming from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, send us the documents.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Okay, so bye-bye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Guten Tag.
Thank you. Bye.